Hey, it's Dwayne,
And Gerrick.
and this is episode 31 of Trading with G. This is a special episode that we're doing live, and it is our last episode of 2023. I hope all of you can hear me out there. I see we're streaming on YouTube. It's Dwayne. Good, we got good sound. Good sound, good sound. So, this is episode 31 of Trading with G, teaching kids and adults about money. And it's our last episode of 2023. Now, I want to explain something. We're going to come back probably 2 to 3 weeks after the new year. We're going to take a little break and we're going to enjoy some time with our family. I'll be honest with you, after this week in the market, it tends usually to be fairly calm. It's usually fairly slow as people are celebrating the holidays. So we're going to look, we're still going to post any moves that we make in the market. It's going to be in our Facebook group. What's it called, Gerrick?
Trading with G.
Trading with G. And there is a link in the description of this video. Get in our Facebook group, and any buys or sells that we do in between our next episode, any moves that we make, we post in our group, right, Gerrick?
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to be part of the Trading with G Facebook group. And again, there's a link in the description of this video. And the first thing that we need to do before we start off is we need to remind them to do one thing. What do we need to remind them to do?
Smash that like button.
And subscribe to our channel. And if you'll do us a favor and share this out, there's not a lot of people that know about us yet, but if you'll share this out, see when there's an admit, you got to hit the admit up there. If you'll share this out for us, maybe share it on social media, tell your friends about it, we would certainly be forever grateful. Right, Gerrick?
Uh-huh.
So this episode is called what?
It's called The
The,
Road We Choose.
the Road We Choose. The Road We Choose. You know why it's called The Road We Choose? It is called The Road We Choose because as you go through life, you're going to come to a crossroads, and you're going to have a road that goes this direction, and you're going to have a road that goes that direction, right? And it's up to you to choose that road. Just like today in the markets, we are at a crossroads, and we're going to show you that on some of our trades. We're up on them. They look like they could go up further, but some of them, they look like they could also possibly come back down. So we're going to, in the market, we're going to pick the road that we choose today in the market. But in life, when you come to these crossroads, right, you got to choose a road. And I want you to understand that it doesn't matter which road you choose, the outcome is already wrote at the end of that road. And you can choose a road to serve Christ and to serve God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know that you always win at the end of the road. Or you can choose another road, and oftentimes that road, you know what it looks like? It's the road that looks tempting. And it's the road that you may win in the moment and it may give you momentary pleasure, but it's the road that eventually leads to, you know what? Destruction, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the road that leads to pain. It's the road of pain. And oftentimes it looks like the better road. And sometimes whenever you choose the right road, right? Things aren't going to go your way in the moment. And you're going to realize, man, why did I come down this road? But you know what? You'll realize why you went down that road when you get to the end, because the end is where you win. And the end is filled with nothing but goodness and prosperity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, as you go through life, what do? It's up to you. Which road do you choose, right? You know which road you're going to choose?
The good one.
The good road, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, good deal. We don't always choose the good road. Sometimes we choose the wrong road, right? And sometimes we choose the wrong road in the market. But we got to realize that we can get back on the good road, right? We're not always going to be perfect. So Sometimes we'll choose the right road oftentimes, but there's going to be times we choose the wrong road. And when we choose the wrong road, we got to learn to do what?
Go.
To manage the ride, right? We got to learn to manage the ride and walk through the valley with what? Courage,
Faith, confidence.
Courage, faith, and confidence, right? So as long as we do that, you know what happens? It puts us back on the right road, right? It puts us on the good road. And when you're on that good road, that's the road that leads to riches, right? Riches beyond what we know. So enough about that. That was the message for today. And I think it's a good message, and it goes along with the market because, like I said, we're at a crossroads in the market, and we don't know if they could go up further or if they're going to come down. It looks like they're going to go up further, but should we take the risk? Should we accept the blessing on some of them? Possibly, right? And take that risk off the table, and now we're able to put it in something else that we have a little better position on, right? So we're going to take a look at all those things. One thing I want to let you know, if you're new joining us and this is your first time, what we did was we started Gerrick out with $100 on his Cash App. And each week you get how much added to your account?
I get $10.
He gets $10 added to his account each week. And we also have a SoFi account for him as well because there's some trades on Cash App that we can't trade. There's some trades on SoFi that we can't trade on Cash App, I should say. And by the way, the app is incredible and they're running a great promo right now. And if you want a link to get the promo, you're going to get $75 worth of goodies just for getting this app. It doesn't cost anything to get the app, and it's with a major publicly traded bank. But you're going to get at least $75 to $400 just for getting this app right now. It's a terrific promo, and you know what? We'll also make some money too, so we both win. So if you want a link, you have to have a link to get the promo. You get some free cash, you get some free stock. Message me, join our Facebook group, Trading with G, and just send me a message there, and I'll get you the link and I'll get you the instructions on how you can do that. But we started Gerrick out on Cash App. We're going to be looking at Cash App today mainly. We may take a look at SoFi. I think we have one over on SoFi. We have some U-Power that we bought over there. We're going to take a look at Cash App. And for those that are wondering, hey, can I trade with these fellas? Can I make some money with them? You can trade on Cash App. It's that simple if you live in the United States. If you don't live in the US, there's other applications out there that allow you to trade stocks easily from your phone, right? You've got Wealth Simple up in Canada. You've got Robinhood. You've got Webull. You've got Interactive Brokers. You've got Revolut over in Europe. I believe they have something called Free Trade. Interactive Brokers works in Australia. Interactive Brokers works in a lot of different countries. So wherever you're at in the world, you'll just have to do a Google search. Find an application that allows you to trade stocks. And you may already have one on your phone and you just don't even realize it. So with that being said, are you ready to trade?
Yes.
All right, well, let's go trade, right? Now, I do want to tell you something before we get into that. I forgot something. If you want to join us live here on our video right now and you have questions and you want to do some interaction, we're going to be doing that throughout this Zoom, throughout this YouTube Live, I should say. We're on Zoom, but it's connected to YouTube Live. So there is a Zoom link in Trading with G. You have to join the group. Go get the Zoom link, and it's the latest post in there. You can find the Zoom link. You can get on here with us. And when you come on, feel free to share your video. Feel free to share your video if you're in a good place. If you're using the restroom, probably not smart to share your video. But if you're in a good place, feel free to share your video. Come on live with us. All I ask, you can unmute yourself, but all I ask is that just stay muted if you have some background noise until you have something to say. So when you come to Cash App, guess what? What are they going to see?
You're going to see this green screen.
You're going to see this green screen.
And on the left bottom corner, you're going to see a dollar amount or a bank or a house.
Yep, and yours says $88 in that lower left-hand corner, so let's click that.
Let's click the dollar amount or the bank or house.
Okay. And you're going to go to where?
We're going to go down and go to stocks.
We're going to go to stocks.
But if you're new and you haven't got stocks yet, your screen's gonna look like this. But if you want to get a stock, just type in like a stock, like Ford, and search that up, buy it, and that's what you have to do.
It's easy as that. It's just pushing buttons, right? So you just search for the stock that you want to buy. Gerrick showed you. Your screen's going to look like this if you're brand new. And once you get your first stock, it'll look much like ours. But you search for your first stock. There's a buy and sell button. It's that simple. You buy, put the dollar amount you want to buy. When you sell, you could hit sell. You could sell all of it, hit next, and confirm it. And it really is that easy to trade stocks. It's really that easy to build your wealth. So let's take a look on what Gerrick's doing this year. This is our first year for Trading with G, right? Mm-hmm. This is episode 31. I think that's a major milestone, right? Major milestone to be at episode 31. And this year we endured, I'll just kind of give you a recap of the year. We came in, we made some really good profit. We went way up here and made some really good profit. We closed that out for profit, and we utilized that profit along with our balance that we're, our original balance, and we're adding more to buy down into the valley. And there's an episode that we did where we knew we were going into the valley before we went there. I don't remember the number, but I do remember the name, and it was called Into the Unknown. And we knew we were going into the unknown, right? And we did a series on the valley, and we also related it to life, because through life, you're going to go through a valley, right? And we learned how to go down into the valley. We learned how to transcend the valley. We learned what the mission was in the valley. And now we're experiencing the climb, right? Mm-hmm. So we went down into the valley, came down, and now look at this. We are blasting back up the chart. Now I realize CashApp says we're up 2.79% for the year. That is not correct, because what CashApp figures is the money that you've put into trades. They don't figure the profits that you've closed along the way. So we're actually up quite a bit more. In fact, if we go to this details tab, we can see, now remember, we've been adding money as we go. We can see that Gerrick has bought $409 worth of stock. You see this, Gerrick? Mm-hmm. And you sold it for what?
I sold it for
$469, right? So you've made almost $60. You've made $60 on a balance of less than $500. But keep in mind, you didn't have a lot of that to start because you were adding money as you went. So your percentage that you've made this year is actually really good. I don't know. I can't give you the exact number because we've been adding money as we go. So that money hasn't even had a year to work. In fact, none of this money has had a year to work because we started doing these in April of last year. So if I had to venture the percentage that we're up on our money in this, it's probably close to 50%, probably close to 50% around about there. Well, it is over 50% of our starting amount, right? Because we started with $100 and now we've made 60. So there's 60% on our starting amount. Pretty good. We've had a pretty good year, right? Mm-hmm. So we're coming up out of this valley. And if we look on the month, we're up 13%. On the week, we're up 7.35%. And on the day, we're down a little bit. We're down 2% on the day. And so as you're looking at trades, we manage our trades on an individual basis, right? We buy at certain points, but we're also looking at our overall sine wave. Why? Because our overall sine wave is going to tell us what our trades are doing as a whole. And it's going to give us some information about the direction that they're going in the moment, more than likely, right? Mm-hmm. And it is so accurate when you read both. So do you see how we're pulling back here, Gerrick?
Mhm.
We're looking like we're pulling back right here. You're up plus $10 there. You're up plus 20. Up at the top of this valley, you're up plus 10. So we're pulling back a little bit. Looks like we're going to come to at least there. Also, if you look, you see these two spikes, Gerrick? You see this one up and you see this one? If you went to where the third one should be, so let's just take a look at this. Right here, you're at minus 45. Up here, you're at minus 1880. That's a difference of about $27. So 27 plus minus 18 is going to be, well, it's going to be around $10, right? 27 minus 18 is going to be around $10. So this looks good. This is probably coming back to right in here. Plus $10 is probably going to come back a little bit. And then I think it could shoot up higher. But we've got to know that there's a possibility that it doesn't. And really, if we're looking at this could go up on a spike and come right back down at any time. You know, it could really surprise us and go up really quick and then come back down. So we've got to be cognizant. You know what it means to be cognizant? It means to be aware. We've got to be aware of that, right? We've got to be aware of that possibility. So we see that the overall wave is coming down right now. It looks like it needs to come at least to this point. It comes to this point, it'll push up a little bit. The question is when it comes to this point, does it just push up a little bit and kind of creep up there? Because if it does, beware. Guess what's happening? We're not on the right road. Boom. We'll come down to the next mark, and the next mark will be the top of this spike right here. So we've got to understand that. And then the next mark down will be the top of this spike. And if we look at the general consensus wave, remember, you have a drive up, so you had it to here, and I'll draw this out on some. Can't really draw it out on his iPad, but you had a drive up to here. That's the first drive. You had to drive down to here.
You can draw them.
That's the second drive. Oh, I can draw on yours? How do I draw on it?
It has to be. You have to connect it. But actually,
Show me how to draw.
I can't share a screen on my iPad, but you could share a screen on yours. And
Yeah, but I can't. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, but you won't. Yeah, they won't see it if I share my screen. So let's just talk about this. You have a drive. You have a drive up to here, right? You have a drive down to here. You see that? Drive up, drive down. The second drive is always higher than the first drive, right? Was this drive up higher than the first drive? And it continued on up. So we could say this was all one drive, right? That means that the second drive down has to go lower than the first drive, right? Do you know where the second drive down is?
No,
It's right. It's right. Actually, if we look here, we could say this is a drive right here up to here.
Oh.
And this is a drive down. This is second drive up. So it needs to come right here. Look. So this would be the drive up from here to here. Okay. There's your first drive up. First drive down is right here. Second drive up is here. So if the second drive came lower, you know where it would go?
It would go
right on top of that. See how nothing has come back down and hit it? So it would go right on the top of that peak. Pretty easy to see. If it really wanted to come down and this was the first drive up, this was the first drive down, and then this was the second drive up, it would have to come lower than this point, and it could come all the way down to this little tiny peak down here. So that is a possibility. But we have to look at the most probable scenario. And the most probable scenario is if we come down here, we probably shoot up on a quick spike before coming back down. But the ultimate place that this looks like it will come back down to is right here on top of this peak. And so we can change that, right? We can change that with the events that we create. You know, if we just let things happen, sure, it'll probably come back down there. But we could change that. We could find support here instead. How do we change that? Do you know how we change that? We change it with an action or an inaction. In this case, we change it with an action. And how we do that is we sell some that are in profit, and then we look to buy other ones that we have a better position on, right? So, we're going to see if we can change the course of our wave by just having it come back here and then going up, continuing up further for us. So let's take a look and see how we can do that, right? By the way, first time joining us and you want to follow us and you want to buy the stocks that we're in, you can do that. That's certainly your choice. If you want to utilize the risk management strategy we use, what you're going to do is on the first 5 stocks, whatever your starting balance is, you're going to take 9% of that and you're going to put in each one of the first 5. And then the ones after that, whatever balance you have left over, you're going to take 9% and you're going to buy the next one. And then you're going to have a new available balance. Your available balance is money that's not in the market. So you're going to take 9% of your new available balance, buy the next one, and then 9% of your new available balance and buy the next one, and so forth and so on. So if you want to follow along with us, that's how we do it. I would encourage you to wait and see what moves we make, because some of these we may be selling, right, Gerrick?
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a look at the first one.
Our first one is Virgin Galactic Holdings.
Virgin Galactic, right?
Huh.
Virgin Galactic, ooh, it's on a nice little run back up. I thought it was coming down. This is a complicated one. This is going to be the one we probably spend the most time on because it's complicated. And by the way, if you're on here live and you have any questions, feel free to jump in, ask a question, feel free to interact with us, feel free to turn your camera on, do whatever, be part of the show with us if you want. But we look at Virgin Galactic, and let's look at the all-time chart. It is way down on the all-time chart. Do you see where it looks like it needs to come back up to here? It needs to come back up to at least right here, it looks like $7 if it comes back up. And it needs to come back up here to the bottom of this, which is around $15. So that potential is there. We're looking here right now, it's been beaten down. And do you see all the way up here? It hasn't came back up and hit it yet. All the way up here around $3, $3.15. There's been nothing that's came back up and hit this. So Gerrick and I are looking at this and we're saying, that's really the out that we want. Is that the out that we're going to get, though? That's the question. That's the out that we want. But you got to understand, sometimes when you take the road that leads to prosperity, it's not getting what you want in the moment. It's the other road that gives you what you want in the moment. And the problem is, after you get what you want in the moment, it's what's waiting on the other side. So you got to keep that in mind, right, Gerrick? So let's take a look at Virgin Galactic. And I'm almost certain that we're going to see a spike up on here. Man, this is hard. You see this little peak right here? What's that say?
$2.25.
225. And you see this peak right here? 234. So if we subtract 234 from 225, you know what that is? I can do that math easy. That's 9 cents, right? Mm-hmm. 9 cents. So if we add 9 cents to the top of 234, that puts us at 243. Let's see where this came down to today. It came down to, oh my gosh, it came down, I just saw it there. It came down to 243. 243. Guys, I want you to understand something. What we do has a lot of divine intelligence to this. And by the way, I have my company in Furio where we do a little bit more in depth and we grow our balance a little quicker because we move a lot of money through the market. And it's a paid membership program. Right now we're giving away free 3-month memberships. So if you want that, message me in our Facebook group, Trading with G, and I'll get you a free 3-month subscription. The only thing I ask is that you use it. You use it, and when you see value, give one away to somebody else. And then after 3 months, we'll touch base. And if you want to be a paid member, that's up to you. But we're certainly growing there. And the thing that I realized is, and the thing that Infurio members and even trading with G members are starting to realize is with the dawn of artificial intelligence after there, we really have something better, right, Gerrick? You know what? Why it's better?
Why?
We have divine intelligence. Do you know what divine intelligence is?
Mm-mm.
That is intelligence from the Most High. It is intelligence from God Himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing, it doesn't matter if I'm trading it, if you're trading it, if AI is trading it, the sine wave always behaves the way that God intended it. Always does, 100% of the time. So when I picked out this point of where it would go, looking at this year chart, and we look today that it went to that exact point, that's why you become so accurate at trading. I know there's a lot of people that use tools, a lot of traders that use tools to help them trade. We don't use any tools. What we use is the sine wave itself and the candlesticks themselves. And that's why we're so precise. We get that question all the time. Dwayne, how can you see the market and call it this good where it's this precise? And I have to be honest, it's not me. It's the gift that God gave me and that divine intelligence to be able to utilize that on financial charts in the market is pretty powerful. So we're looking here. Is it going to come back down, though? That is the question. Or is it going to continue up? Right now, Gerrick, look what we're up on Virgin Galactic. What are we up?
We're up
8.52%. And we have to look at something too. This stock is our biggest holding. So we know that if we sell this and we take, right now, we have a guaranteed win. I want you to understand something. They say there's nothing guaranteed in the market. No, right now we have a guaranteed win. Why? Because we're already up on it. All we have to do is hit that sell button. We're guaranteed to win on this right now as it sets if we just take our win. And so we have to look that this is a major, this is the biggest holding that we have. We know that if we sell it, we're going to take a lot of our risk off the table. We also know that if it comes down, all those risks are still going to be tied up. And we have to be aware of that, right, Gerrick? See Gerrick spinning around. And you look, I'll be honest with you. He's how old?
9.
9. You started these episodes when you were how old?
7.
8. He started these episodes when he was 8 years old. He's 9 years old now. But his patience, he's still learning patience, right? He gets distracted pretty easily. So he shows up at the key points though, and that's the good thing. So we're going to look at Virgin Galactic. Is it going to continue up here, or is it coming back down? You see the bottom of this valley right here on the day chart? We know that it hit that, it came back up and it hit that. If this breaks right here, we could see this run, okay? If this breaks right here, this 249, we could see it run up more. But the one thing that I don't like is we saw it hit this valley, it came back down, it bounced off of here, and if it comes down from here, it is going to come lower. There's no doubt about it. That's just how the sine wave behaves. Where could it go to if it comes lower? Let's just take a look here. It could come here to 223. It could come all the way down here to 185. It could come down here to 144. And our cost average is 229. So if it falls below there, it's no longer a win for us. So what we're really looking right now is if this holds right here. Guys, we're at a crucial moment in time. We timed this live just right, just so you know. We are at a crucial moment in time for Virgin Galactic because the road we choose right now determines if it's going to break this resistance in the next few minutes during this episode. So we're going to see if it breaks this resistance. If not, we know its next point down is going to be right at least 234, and which is still above our cost average. So we may sell this by the end of the episode. There's a good chance we will. It may break. Hey, it may break during this episode and we may see it run. That happens. Believe it or not, that happens. They break and they shoot up really quick, right, Gerrick? We've seen it happen many, many times over. But you gotta get it at just the right time, right? You gotta be watching it just the right time. So we might just be at just the right time. What is that? Go ahead and hit me on the phone. So we got to be there at just the right time. We're going to hold Virgin Galactic. We're going to put this on the burner for a second. Okay. We know the two things that we know about Virgin Galactic. We know two things. One's a positive and one's a negative, or not so good. It's not necessarily a negative, but it's not great. So you know what the two things we know about Virgin Galactic is right now? I'm going to teach you fundamentals. Okay. You know what fundamentals are? Fundamentals are looking at the company and what it's doing. Technicals are looking at the sine wave and the chart. So it's good to use both in conjunction. Virgin Galactic just started doing what, Gerrick?
Space tourism.
Space tourism. They just started doing space tourism. And, I want to let you know, 2 or 3 years ago, I bought a domain name that I still own, and it's got a high value. It just got me thinking. I own shotinspace.com. And I figured, at the time I was monitoring Virgin Galactic, I said maybe, I get that website and we could do an agreement with Virgin Galactic and do some marketing for them in the distant future at the time. Maybe that's a possibility. We'll have to see. But we do own that domain name, you know that? Shotinspace.com, which is pretty cool. But they just started doing space tourism. And you know what that means?
That
means that they're bringing in cash flow. They're not profitable as a company yet by any means, but they just started bringing in cash flow after developing their product, which means that they could soon be profitable if they make the right moves. The other thing we have to look at is that Sir Richard Branson, he's a big investor. Okay. He's a big investor in Virgin Galactic. He said that he was not going to fund Virgin Galactic any more money. And he holds a pretty good chunk of the company. Now that may change in the future. He may like what they're doing and say, you know what, I'm going to give you more money because you've proven yourself and I like what you're doing. May change in the future, but he's made that statement that he's not going to fund Virgin Galactic anymore. Virgin Galactic claims that they have enough money that they need. And even Richard Branson said they've got all the money that they need. And Virgin Galactic said, yes, we've got all the money we need. It's going to be tight, but we think we can pull this off. So they very well may have all the money that they need to do their innovation and make their space flights less expensive. And if they're able to do that, then eventually they're able to turn a profit. And when they turn a profit, this is a stock that could soar. It could go up massively from where it is now. So we see that upside potential there, but we also see the downside potential. What happens if something goes unplanned and they end up not having enough money? They run out of money, things happen. You know what we say in life, Gerrick? Feces happen. You know what feces are? Poop. Yeah, poop happens in life, right? Oh, you adults out there, you know that poop happens in life. So if poop happened in this stock where something unplanned happened, we've got to realize that it may never reach its potential if that happens. We've got to be aware of where we're at because we understand something about everything in this universe. You know what we understand? Mm-hmm. We understand everything in this universe that we know starts at zero and it ends at zero. Everything. I want you to understand that. Microsoft, Apple stock, Bitcoin, oil, some of the biggest investments, they're all going to end at zero one day. It may not be in our lifetime, but you've got to understand that everything in this universe is born and it comes to an end. And so you have to be aware of that fact. Everything we're in life, even our lives as we know them in this third dimensional space that we know, is going to go back to zero, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So we've got to keep that in our mind, right? It's good to look up the upside, but you also want to be aware of the downside. And if we look Virgin Galactic, oh, I thought it was breaking there. It's hitting it. It's trying to break. Tell it to go. Say, go, Virgin Galactic, go.
Go, Virgin Galactic, go.
More excitement than that. Tell it to get its butt going.
Get your butt going.
Oh, you got to, come on, more excitement than that.
Get your butt going.
Get your butt going, Virgin Galactic, right? So let's see if it can break there. We're gonna come back to it a little bit later. It may play around there for a second. Woo, it's close. It's close. The next one we're gonna look at, Gerrick, is what? It's our second biggest holding.
Vizio.
Vizio. Well, we're looking at Vizio, and what we're looking at on Vizio. Let's look at the all chart. There's one thing that we know at Vizio. We're following the fundamentals as well. You know what we know about Vizio? They turned a profit. They just started turning a profit. And they just beat their earning projections by a mile. I think their earnings were 7 times higher than their projections. We can see it here. So they projected to earn 1 cent per share, and they earned 7 cents per share. That's pretty incredible. So Virgin Galactic, a lot of times stocks come out and they're negative. They're losing money, and that's fine. People are still speculating in them. You know what speculate means? It means that they're man, what's a good word for speculate? It means that they want to take a position because they don't want to miss out, and it could go higher. And so they see the potential. When you speculate in something, you see the potential in it. And so there's companies that will, can you tell them that we're on a Zoom? This is Grandma. Hey, we're live on a Zoom right now. We're live on YouTube. We're live on YouTube. You guys can go watch. All right. Okay. So maybe Grandma and Grandpa come on and watch us, right? I didn't realize we were live. See? And Grandpa does watch your episodes. He gave us Vizio, remember? He gave us Vizio. So we know Vizio's starting to turn a profit. And this is a stock that we're looking for to come up to right here, the bottom of this valley, right? At around 874. We originally said, it could come up to the bottom of this valley at 717, and it did that. And I said, if it kind of slows up there, we probably want to sell there. But it actually blew past there. It went past 717, and we look at it, it went all the way up to 799. Right now, you see this previous peak, 748, right in here. It's a little lower, and that's fine. It's starting to bounce off of this peak. It's starting to bounce. See this previous peak, 737 right here on the year chart? It's starting to bounce off of this peak. And yes, this could still come back down to $5.21, 5.60, somewhere in there. It could come back up here to 6.25. Our cost average on this is 6.56. We're in solid position on this. I mean, phenomenal position. We know that their earnings were way better than projected. We know that it's our second biggest holding, but it still is less than 10% of our balance. So we have to take that into account too. Well, it might be, it's less than 10% of our balance, I believe, somewhere around there, which is good. We're not overextended on it, considering the news and where it's at. So Vizio, I really feel like we want to keep Vizio, don't you, Gerrick? You think we want to keep Vizio? Hey, you got to pay attention. Do you think we want to? You think we want to keep Vizio?
Yeah.
I think we want to keep Vizio. And if it does come down here to 625, you know what I'll do down there? I mean, I'll just buy more. Our cost average is 656. Actually, our cost average is 656. So if it comes down there, I'll just buy more down there. I like my position on Vizio. It looks like it's hitting this previous peak. It looks like it's a really good one that needs to fly. Now, when it comes up, it'll probably come up to right around 769, and then it'll probably bounce back down here 760 to 751. So it'll probably jump up there either 769. It could even come up here to 784 and then jump back down and hit around 760. But this looks like it has a lot more room to rumble. And see how it's also, Gerrick, look at this. On its current drive up, see how it's also hitting its previous peak?
Yes.
It's not quite hitting it yet, but it could hit it 734 and it could bounce off of there. We look good in Vizio. I like the position. I say we keep Vizio. So let's go ahead. We're going to choose the road for Vizio. It looks good. It looks solid. And we're gonna keep down that road with Vizio, right? Pop back in on Virgin Galactic. It's starting to break a little bit. Starting to break. So we're going to keep watching it. It's starting to break. Now it needs to break above the top of here. And we could really see it start to fly. Actually, it could come back up here. So at 253. Top high today was 254. So yes, it needs to break the top of here. It needs to break the top of here, which is the bottom of this valley here. That's the next step. And then it needs to break right here at 257. So we just got to look. But here's the thing. If it comes up here, we've got support. We've got this peak here, 252. We've got 250, 248, 250. So we've got support there a little bit. That still doesn't mean it can't break support because it certainly can. But we have support there. So that is Vizio. Or no, that was Virgin Galactic, excuse me. That was Virgin Galactic. We're just going to watch. We're going to come back on this. We're going to look at this. We're going to check in on this periodically, and we're going to make a determination at the end of this episode whether we want to sell it or we want to buy it, and which road or whether we want to sell it or we want to hold it, I should say, and which road we should go down. We're up about 9% on it right now, which is a pretty good amount. What's the next one, Gerrick?
Next one, Zoom video communications.
Zoom video communications, right? Zoom video communications. And we're going to take a look here at Zoom video communications. We see that nothing's come back up right here to the bottom of this valley, right here around $97. Looks good. The bottom of here is $92. And nothing's really came back up and hit that mark either. Nothing's really came back up and hit $92. So we like Zoom because it's starting to come up, and we think that it could go up there to around $92. It's got a lot of positive news. If we look at its earnings projections, it was projecting to hit $1.08 per share, and they did $1.29. So they did more than their projections. They're turning a profit. They have some, new stuff coming out. You can read about on Zoom. We're using them right now as well. But we also have to look that Zoom could come back down to here, this peak here, right around 60 to $6 to right here, 60, 67. Or it could come all the way back down here to around $63. And that's probably where I would buy more. I really like how this has came up out of the valley. And I think we're going to see this dribble along here. And then I think we're going to see it shoot higher. And, it certainly looks like it's wanting to go up more. We know that if it gets pushed down, it'll probably just be a temporary thing because it certainly is just, you can see it in the chart. It's wanting to push higher. It's just running into this resistance up here. And once it breaks that, we don't really have any resistance that up in here. We have all these points. We've had a peak come back and hit them. See this point? This one came back and hit it. This point down here, this one come back and hit it. I mean, this one here, it was hit right here. All these points, there's virtually no resistance there once it breaks out. And so it looks like it could make a big run. We're up right now in Zoom. We're up 12.48%. And I think Zoom's a smart one to hold. Considering everything that's going on with Zoom, I think we should hold Zoom, don't you?
Yes.
I think we should hold on to Zoom. Let's go on down here. What's the next one on the list?
The next one is Ford Motor.
Ford Motor Company. And we're looking at Ford. And guys, this episode is going to be a little longer because it's a live today. And I'll be taking questions and doing some analysis and whatnot at the end. Again, if you want to join us on Zoom, you can take and go to our Trading with G Facebook group. The last post on the page, there's a link to join us live on this Zoom. So we're going to look here at Ford. Right now, what are we down in Ford, Gerrick? What are we down in Ford?
We're down in Ford 3%.
3% basically, right?
Uh-huh.
We're down 78 cents on $26. Actually, just changed. We're down exactly 3%. We've looked at Ford. We've got a buy order on Ford to buy more if it comes down. We said that it would probably go up to around $11 and come back down. It's actually went past there, but you could see our buys along the way. We're looking for Ford to go back up here to around $14. That really looks to be our out. And do we have a sell price set on Ford? Let's see here. We have a sell set on Ford. We have a buy set on Ford because it still could come down, but I don't see a sell set on Ford. So I think we should maybe go in there and set a sell on Ford. So if we look at Ford, on the downside, we can see that this could come back down here to maybe, it's broke support up here. So this could come back down here to maybe around $10. It could come back to around $8. I mean, right here, this spike here around $9. That looks decent. It could come all the way back down here. This is a really good one. And this is where we set our buy. See this little spike down here?
Uh-huh.
The top of that is around 753. And that is perfect. It could fall a little lower in there, but that is, if it comes down there, that's good buying territory. Now we still have to be aware of the general consensus wave, right? Remember, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to stop sharing on your screen. I'm going to pull this up on TradingView, and we're going to look at that general consensus wave, okay? Here you go. Go ahead and sit there.
Okay.
And we're going to look at Ford. Right here. Okay, TradingView. We're going to go to TradingView.
Trading.
Okay.
Okay.
Gerrick likes to play my phone to keep him occupied while he listens. You get to see how we do it. I edit a lot of stuff out of our other episodes. So Ford, if we look at Ford, we're going to launch this chart. And see, I want to do this because I get a draw on it. And I'm going to shrink this down. This is a day chart, so it's a fairly long time frame chart. I can't compress it down enough, though. Let me go to a week chart. Okay, let me compress this down. And what we really look for is, wow, see on the week chart, see how this is come down and hit this bottom so many times? It's Kind of crazy. Actually, we're not on the right one, are we? It says 72 cents, and it's not 72 cents. I don't think we're on the right Ford. Let me go over here. I think we might have been on the options chart. Oh, there it was. Ford Motor Company. Launch chart. Okay, this is the right chart. We're on the wrong one. And I still can't compress it down enough, so I'm going to go over here to the week chart. I'm going to compress this down here. Ooh, and that gives me a beautiful view of the sine wave. That's the overall sine wave. I want you to understand something. When you are picking entry points, where you enter is the most important thing. Everybody thinks where you exit is. It's actually not. It's where you enter that really determines how prosperous and profitable you are. But in a trading sine wave, you get a drive up, you get this drive down, you get the second drive up, and then the second drive down is always lower than the first drive. Okay. And it's good to find a peak down here. So let's say this wave did this. Say it did this. Okay. And we see that peak down there. Boom. That's a good buy point. Okay. That's usually that's your best buy point in the general consensus wave. It's the buy point where you're almost assured a win. Of course, nothing's guaranteed, but you know, it's that point if you're playing the overall general consensus wave that you buy. And sometimes what'll happen is it'll hit this point and then it'll hit this previous peak before and it'll slam down one more time. Okay. It'll slam down one more time and then it'll shoot up. That happens a lot as well. So you got to be aware of that. So it doesn't always. Sometimes you can come down your second drive down and you can go up from here. So that happens as well. So we've got to look at where this general consensus wave is on Ford, what I call the general consensus wave. And we see that we have a drive up here. We see we drive down. We see a drive up here. And we see how this second drive down was lower than the first drive. In fact, it came back and hit right in here. Okay, close to it. It might even hit down in here. It might even came lower than this drive down here, which is beautiful. So now we have, excuse me. So now we have to take a look at where we're at right now. We see that wave. So that means that we could go higher than this point. This is played out. We got to take a look in this. And we see right here, we see a drive up. We see a drive down. Actually, you know what? This never came higher. So this is actually the first drive down. So this is the drive up to here. This is the drive down. And this is the second drive up. Okay. Now, let me explain something. It doesn't have to come down there. Okay. It can bounce off of this peak here. It's actually a little bit lower. It could bounce off of this peak here. You know, it could bounce off of this peak and it could go up higher from there. Okay. It can bounce off the previous peak. In fact, it could go the distance from here to here. If you figure what that distance would be all the way up here, it could go there. It could go. Okay. That is a possibility. But it could also come back down. Do you see right here? The top of this. Do you see this, Gerrick? The top of this peak would be lower. That's like your absolute bottom right now. Let's take a look and see what that is. Now keep in mind, for this to play out on this long of a time frame, if you were waiting for it to come down there, you may wait a long time. In fact, it may never come back down there in your lifetime. I want you to be aware of it. It will come back down there because everything eventually comes back to zero. Okay, so it will come back down. Every red candlestick eventually comes back and hits the previous red candlestick. It's just a fact of life. It's the fact of the rules of the universe in which we live. So we know that down here is a possibility. We know it's probably not a probability, but it is. Oh, I was sharing my screen and it went off. Okay. We know that it's probably not a probability, but it is a possibility. And right down here around $3, and we can see that top of that is 325, right around 3. So around 325. Okay, 350 somewhere in there. I may not have hit it just right, but around $3 to $3.50. That is a possibility for it to come down there. We have to be cognizant about that. What's cognizant mean? It means aware. Aware, right? We can also see general consensus waves within general consensus waves. See waves within waves when you learn how to read it. You got to drive up here, you got to drive down here, you got a second drive up here, and now your second drive's lower, came lower here, went up, and this could even slam down one more time, and then it could bust up. We're looking, though, to get out of this. We're looking to get out of this. Where's my drawing tools? I have tape. Okay. We're looking to get out of this. I mean, ultimately, up here is a really good exit point around $18, but we're looking to get out right here. See this little point right here? You learn to see the little points on the all-time chart, but you're going to be able to see it much better when I go to a different chart. But this point right here, okay, around $14. Let me just go ahead and clear this. So do you see this right here? See the bottom right here of this green candlestick? Barely can see it. Do you see that, Gerrick? See the bottom right there? Mm-hmm. Of that green candlestick? Watch this. When I go to a different time frame chart, you're going to see this. Okay? It's going to stand out. And boom, it stands out. There's the $18, and look right here. Right up here is the $14 mark. Right around in here that we were seeing on the long-term chart. That means that it could go up higher, it could go up here, but this is our exit right now. You know, we know we're going to make a pretty good percentage for the time we've been in there. That's our exit. We also know it could come down here. And so this is really the range. This is the channel, they call it, that we're playing right now. The top of here around 750 to the bottom of here around $18. This is the channel that we're in. And we can read that simply by reading God's sine wave. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to give you a little bit more advanced analysis here. You got to understand the general consensus wave never changes. That's the starting point. But you have intricacies within intricacies that you have to analyze in the moment. And sometimes those change in the moment. And you have to recognize when they change so you can recognize what moves you're going to make. And when you know that, you're able to win in the end. So you will sometimes see a drive up, you'll see the first drive up, first drive down, and you'll see the second drive up. But when it comes back, guess what? It bounces off the peak and it goes even higher. It goes the distance between these two. That happens in the market. You know, it happens fairly often whenever we're in what's called a bull market. And you just have to realize it. And now all of a sudden, you've got this is your first drive up. This is now your first drive down. This is your second drive up. Okay, so it changes. It changes along the way, right? But one thing that I like to look for, and I've learned, when people are wondering which way something will go, it's 50-50. Which way will it go? Oftentimes you get a peak, you have a drive down, and you have another peak just a little bit above it, just a little bit above it. Okay, so you'll have this peak maybe over here. And so you should go up the distance from here to here. You should go up here. But you stop just a little above it and you start to come back down. It is at that point in time that you know more than likely you're going to come back down below this drive. Okay, so you got your drive up, your drive down. It peaked and it went just a little higher, but then it came back down. Guess what? I know now this might dance around in here and tease me like it's going to go up higher. It tease you a few times, but it's eventually coming back lower than this point. I know it all too well. This is a dead giveaway when you have just a little peak that doesn't make sense. And sometimes it can dribble up too. Sometimes this peak can come back, hit this peak, and now it dribbles up a little higher. And it comes back, hits this peak, dribbles up a little higher, hits this peak, dribbles up, and it starts to turn, and then boom, comes down. That happens a lot as well. So hopefully this sheds some light. I had somebody say, can you teach us to see what you see in the market? Hopefully this sheds a little bit of light of what we see, right? Are you learning to see what I see in the market? You better be. Are you playing a phone? You got to learn what I see in the market. You know why? Because one day you're going to have to lead these people, right? Not very many people know this knowledge and understand all the. Now there's much more than that to it, but I'm just giving you a few. I gave you the general consensus wave, and I gave you a few uh, um, um, intricacies, and those intricacies will help you better understand, what you're seeing in the moment. Those were some really big intricacies of how to read this chart. So let's go ahead and share your screen again, Gerrick.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do on Ford? Well, we're down in it right now. There's really nothing much to do than to wait on Ford. Am I froze? Why am I froze? One of you on the Zoom, can you give me a thumbs up? Am I froze or can you hear me? Am I froze? No, I'm good. Okay. Am I froze up on your screen? No, I'm good. Okay. I thought I might have been froze there for a second. It was froze on my screen. Oh, we got to stop the share. We got to turn your video on here. Start video. Okay. Now we're gonna share. So we're gonna go back to Cash App. I know there's not very many people on here, guys, but I'm gonna tell you this. Okay, there's not a lot of people that know about us yet. The information that I just gave you is information that will change your life. That is a golden, golden, golden nugget. I gave away a lot there. So right now we're down in Ford. We're down 3% still. It's just kind of toying around, dancing around. Look, it's either gonna break there. It's gonna go up to 14 cents, or it's gonna come back down and hopefully hit our mark here at 753. Either way, I'm not concerned because we win, right? We're in the trade. If it goes up to 14, we're going to take our profit. If it comes down to 753, great. We got the opportunity to transcend the valley, right? How do we transcend the valley? We see the beauty in what?
The beauty
and the opportunity of being there, right? So even if we come down, we still win. Cha-ching. Why? Because we get to buy more Ford there. We get to buy more Ford. And that's how we're playing Ford. Let's go back up and take a look at Virgin Galactic. Is it breaking here? It's still struggling. It's broke that point, but it's still struggling a little bit. Still struggling. And we want to see it break a little bit more. So let's go on down the list. Gerrick, what's our next one?
Our next one is 275.
275. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one today, but I'm going to tell you what. This has been a moneymaker for people that have came in at the bottom because it's up 11% this week and it's up 94% on the month. On the month. Now we're down in it. Why? Because it's one of those that crashed. And at the time, they took it off the board on Cash App, and we didn't have any place to buy it. So now we got SoFi we can go buy it on. But it came down, it crashed way down, and we know just by looking at this sine wave, it needs to come back up to around here, $8.50. I mean, you can see that as clear as day. Our cost average is 763 a share. We're good in this. We are looking to buy more. If it does come back down to around 261, there is a spike. You can't see it now on the month chart because it's already passed. But we saw that spike, and the top of this peak is about 254. So it could come down to around 254. It could even come all the way back down here to around $1.63 if it really wanted to come back down. We know that that 261 though is a really good entry point. That's a really good entry point. We were going to buy more, and then we forgot after we did that episode and it shot way up. So I said, we're going to come back to this later. And when this comes back to $2.61, we're going to buy a boatload more of Virgin Galactic. We have in the trade $54. We'll probably put half of that. We'll probably come in for half that amount. We'll probably come in for around $27 once it hits 261. If it hits there before going in profit. But man, this one here, you come in at the bottom, you got it at a great price. Why did it go down? I'll tell you why. It's the stupidest thing, to be honest with you. It's just how people are in this world. The Bible says not to be of this world. You understand that? You're not to be of the world. You're not to give in to the world. Okay, the world will tempt you. The reason is because the world wants what they want in the moment. They want instant gratification every single time. That is the moment. The moment is so hard for us as humans to overcome because it's so filled with temptation along the way. And I want you to understand that because 270 Bio, they have a medicine called Abecma that's getting ready to come out. Abecma was scheduled for release this month. The problem is the FDA postponed it. They wanted to get expert opinion before they approved it. You know what the FDA is? It's the Food and Drug Administration. It's the government organization that approves medicine. Okay, so they have this medicine that's coming out, used to treat cancer, and a special type of cancer, and it got postponed because they want to get expert opinion. And so the market, because they didn't get what they want right away, guess what? It had a big sell-off. But I'm going to tell you this. If you look at the underlying reports and not what's on the surface, hey, it crashed down. Oh my gosh, they postponed it. This isn't good. If you look beyond that speculation that people are doing, they're speculating that it was, going to come down, which it did. If you look beyond that, you'll see that in their trials, their medicine is working, and it is working extremely effectively. They're getting some really good numbers. And all that really tells you under the surface is it's only a matter of time before they get FDA approval. I mean, they're more than likely going to get FDA approval on their medication. And when they get FDA approval, we could see this stock shoot way up. We could even see the company itself, Bristol Myers does their manufacturing. We could see the company 270 get acquired by Bristol Myers. And I've done the math. I mean, right now, their market cap, what they're worth is 265 million. So if they were to get acquired, let's say, they could easily get acquired for $3 billion. Okay, $3 billion when they come out with this medicine, if it's working and it's able to drive a lot of sales. If they had a $3 billion valuation, this company would be all the way up here at around $25 a share. Okay, right here. See the bottom of this valley over here? Look, Gerrick. See the bottom of this valley?
Uh-huh.
Do you see how that matches up?
Uh-huh.
It matches up with that figure. That's a possibility. We have to realize this has some really good upside. There is the risk. What's the risk? Something happens with their trials and their medicine doesn't get FDA approval, and it takes them even longer, and market comes down while they look for their next project to work on. So in the medical field, so we have that downside potential there as well. But from a standpoint of where this needs to come right now, it is so obvious this needs to come back up to around $8.50. I mean, as quickly as it's came up, what it's doing, $8.50 is the mark. I mean, it's a great buy considering that now. And if it comes down to around $2.61, it's going to be a phenomenal buy. And if it should even go down to $1.63, great. You could pick up a boatload more down there as well. The likelihood of what this is doing right now is it's probably going to come down to around $2.30 to around $2.60. And we're probably going to see this go higher. We're probably going to see it go substantially higher. So that's 270 bio. We're holding it right now. Obviously, on our Cash App amount, we're down 56%. So, and we're looking to buy more over on our SoFi app. Now, Gerrick, what's our next one?
Next one's RH.
RH. This is one that we've been holding for a very short time. We've held this for what, a week? Yeah. Yeah, we've held this for exactly 1 week. Okay. We're up 25% on this trade in 1 week. Now, let me ask you guys something. If you make 25% on your money in 1 week, is that good? Is that good? Give me, for those of you on Zoom, is that good? You make 25% on your money in 1 week. That's pretty dang good, right? That's what we've made. Well, let's take a look at it. We had a sell set on this. We were looking for this to come back up to the bottom of here, $3.33. And it'll probably come down here to around 290. It's at 305 now. It'll probably come down to 290, and then it'll probably bounce up there. It'll probably go to around 333. It may come down first. It may, it may dance around. I mean, it could even come down here to around 290 looks good. 280. There's 263 here. If the bottom fell out of this, it could come all the way back down to here at 215, 17 a share, I think is what I saw. Yep. It could, so it could come all the way, it could come screaming down there. That's a possibility, but it's not a probability. It is a possibility, but it's not a probability. The probability is that this takes and bounces off around 290, 280. It could go a little lower, and it goes up to this 333. Okay, are you listening, Gerrick? But we've got to look at where we sit and what our perception is. We see that before it comes down to 290, it could come up here to 312, and then it could come back down, and it could go sideways for a while. Okay, we have to take that into account. We could probably put this money to use, lock in our profits, and we could probably put this money to use elsewhere, right? I mean, we're up 25% in a week. What more do you want? What more do you want when you're up 20? You realize 25% in a week, that's 100% in a month, and that's 1,200% in a year. If you were to do that each week, of course, you don't do that each week. But right now, Gerrick, we are guaranteed 100% a win right now. Why? Why are we guaranteed a win? Why are we guaranteed to win? Let's see if you're paying attention.
Because we have been keeping our stocks.
Because we're up on it, right? All we have to do is do what to take the win?
Just sell it.
We just hit the sell button, right? We hit the sell button and we accept our blessing that we were blessed with to make 25% on a trade that we're in a week. I mean, come on, get out of town. We're going to take that every day, right? So I'm going to let you do the honors, Gerrick. You come in and you hit this sell button. You hit that sell button, and you'd be proud of hitting that sell button because you did good. You did good on this trade. You're going to hit all. Hit next. Confirm. Oh,
we can't get it.
You know why? We got a sell order. Let me go ahead and cancel it. Do we have a buy order to buy more anywhere? Anything we have on RH, we're canceling off. No. Okay. So let's go back in. Now hit the sell button. All, next, confirm, and boom. Awesome. Let's look at this. See, look, I like to go back in here. I click on this.
Go down.
No. No. Oh, these are the orders. I like to go back in here. See how, look at this? I can click on this emblem up here. See RH? And look, we bought it for 16 and we sold it for 20 in a week and we made 25%. That's pretty cool. I like that. Okay. And you know what? We took more risk off the table, right? See, our balance is getting bigger down here. We were at 88, we're at 108 now. Our our available balance is getting bigger. That's a good thing. So let's go ahead and go on to the next one. What's the next one?
Our next one's
Is what?
is
Come on, you gotta pay attention.
HashiCorp.
HashiCorp. Now HashiCorp, what are we up on it?
We are up
6.94% in what? In 1 week. 1 week. We're up 6.94%. Let's take a look at this. Just a brief look. See if it's good to sell or if we want to hold it. This looks really good. This looks like it could bounce off of here at 21.53. It looks like it could go higher. We were trying to sell right here at the bottom of this, 23.78. Remember 23.77? And it didn't quite hit there. Almost hit there, but it didn't quite hit there. So it could come up here. You know, it's hitting resistance now. It could turn around, go back down here to 21.50. Could even go a little bit lower if it wanted. I mean, for the time frame that we've been in this, yeah, it's at 22.28, and it's probably going to go up to at least here, 23.78, 23.77, probably even up to here, 24.66. But by the same token, you know what? We're guaranteed to win on this. Let me just see something here. If it comes down, where could it come to? Oh, it could go lower. It could go lower yet. There's no, I mean, it's hit all the support. It's took out the support. So if it did come down, it could go lower. It's probably going to bounce off of here first, but we're already above this peak right now. Jake, you know what?
What?
What do you think we should do? We're guaranteed to win right now on this. We're guaranteed 6.881% on this. We made it in a week. What do you think we should do?
We should maybe just like go to like
Sell.
and then we would go ahead and go change.
No, we don't want to set a sell order. We already got to set. We got to cancel an order. We're gonna sell this now. We're gonna choose the road to prosperity because we know it's there. We're already on it. It's guaranteed. We're there, right? We're gonna take it. I mean, come on. So, are you sure you want to cancel? Yes, we want to cancel that. We're gonna go get rid of it. We're gonna go get rid of it for a nice profit. Go ahead and hit sell. So next, confirm and done. And if we look here, HashiCorp, cool. We bought it for 16, sold it for 17.07. And we're just compounding our money slowly. Our gains will be slow at first, small and slow, and they get bigger and bigger and much bigger with time. And you're going to see this as these episodes go. So that was HashiCorp. What's the next one on the list?
The next one is Manisio Group.
Manisio Group. And we came in this last week. We came in for 16. Why? Because at the time it was 9% of our available balance. So we were putting 9% of our available balance in our new buys. And if we look, Gerrick, we bought it for 16. It's at 15.61 now. And we're down 2.44% on it. We're down. We think that this could come back up here to the bottom of here around $24, $24.69. I mean, it looks good to come back up there, but we also know that it could come back down here, all the way down here at 11 or $12. You know, that's a possibility. Yep. You see the general consensus wave? You got to drive up right here, 1929. You got to drive down to here, 14.74. You got a second drive up to here to $28. This is going to do one of two things. I know this is going to either bounce off of this peak right here, and it's going to go much higher. It's going to go higher than than the top of this peak. Okay. Or it's going to bounce off of this peak. It's going to come maybe not right to the bottom here, but you see these two little drive downs, 25.14 minus 24.68. Whatever the difference is between those 2 points, minus 24.68. That's that's where it would go. Probably right in here, right around $23. And then it would push back down to maybe the top of this peak, lower than this drive, maybe right down here around 8.24. So that's what we're looking at for it to come down. For it to go up, we're looking for it to come in here around 25.14 minus 24. That is a dollar. It's about $1.14. $1.14. So that would be 23, 22, around 22.85, 22.80, somewhere in there. Our cost average is 19.73 on it. So if this goes up to 22.80, guess what? We're gonna make 10% profit on it. I like our position there. There's no reason to go buy more right now. There's obviously not a reason to sell because we're down, but we also would probably want to buy more if it did have a brief drop all the way down to here. And actually probably a little higher because it would spike up first, probably right here. So if it had a drop to 12.26, we'll buy more Minicio group. Okay. So let's go ahead and hit buy. We're going to set a buy order. What did I say? We're going to set it at? We're going to set it at 12.26. Well, 12.26. Hit buy, Gerrick. Hit custom purchase order, change order type. And if you see this calculator looking icon in the upper right-hand corner, we're just going to choose that. We're going to punch in 12.26 per share. We're going to hit next. How much would you like to buy? Well, we're buying this in $16 increments. We know that that's what our initial buy was. So we're just going to buy another $16 worth if it comes down there. We're going to set it for 90 days. We can always cancel it. We're going to hit next and scroll to continue. We're going to confirm. And order cannot be placed at this time due to a pending or queued order. Okay, well, let's go look and see what order we have. We have a sell price. I guess it doesn't want us to have a buy and sell. You know what we'll do? We're just going to cancel our sell. Our buy is more important than our sell. The entry is always more important than the exit. So we're going to go hit this again. We're going to hit buy, change order type, custom purchase order. We're going 12.26 and we're going to go next. How much would you like to buy if the share price goes down? $16 worth, 90 days, hit next and scroll to confirm. We're good. We're good. We took out that sell order at 24. That's fine. We're going to watch it when it gets above that 22.50, 22, $22 mark. We're up over 10%. We're just going to watch, and when it gets up in there, we're going to go sell it. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? We see the wins, we see the pockets. So as long as we just stay in those pockets, we know we can win. You just take the blessing that God gives you, right? Take the blessing that God gives you. It's there. So, what can I say? Minicio, we're good in that. Let's go to our next one on the list. What's our next one, Gerrick? We're getting to the bottom here. Hold on.
Our next one is Aclaris Therapeutics.
Aclaris Therapeutics. You can't buy this on CashApp any longer. You can buy it on SoFi. We don't need to buy it on SoFi. Why? Because this is a trade we're just dominating right now. I mean, there's no other word for it. We've got great position. We're up 40% on this trade. We were up 60%. We're just kind of holding it because where we think that this could go, and we have a buy set at 32 cents, just in case it come down and hit a quick drop down there. But the reason that we're holding it is because we think that this could go up to around $2.20. If you see this drive down here, 660 minus 442, That's about $2.20. If you take $2.20 off of 442, that's about $2.20. So where this drop is, this drop, where the next drop down should have been, is where it'll come back up to, which is around $2.20. This came down. I want you to understand, this dropped massive on a massive spike. It dropped 86% on it in a day. And when I saw that, I was like, Gerrick, my eyes just got big. Anytime something drops around 90% in a day, it's got to take a bounce in there because of the squeeze. That's just how the sine wave works and how math works out. And so I knew that we were really close to that 90%, mark. And I was like 86%, bam, I'm there, right? I'm buying. We bought all the way at the bottom. We bought this thing at the bottom of the crash. And now you can't get any better positioning than that. Yeah, it may come down and hit this at 91 cents. It might bounce in here. It may even come back down and hit the top. Well, it's right there, 87 cents. It could bounce around in here for a while. We could see it ping pong. That's okay. We're in good shape. And it looks like this here, not because the company had any great news, but because the technicals are good. Okay. The other thing you have to consider is, look, we are only in for $8. At the time we bought it, that was 9% of our available balance. We had a lot of money locked up in the market. $8 in this trade is a very insignificant amount to our entire balance, which is like probably 500 close to it or whatnot. So why do I want to take that $8 risk off the table, knowing, yeah, I could come down and I could be lower, when it's only $8 risk to me? I'm up, and I know that the return that I can make on that $8 is much greater. It's a very small part of my balance. If I was in position like I am with Virgin Galactic, and this was my largest holding, guess what? I'm definitely selling now. I'm not messing around. I'm going to hit the sell button here if that's the case. But I have to look at the facts, and the facts are there's a good chance this could go much higher. And I've got just a small piece of my balance in there. And if I can rake it in on just that small piece of my balance, more power to me, right? More power to it. And so for that reason, I like where we're at in Aclaris Therapeutics. You understand that, Gerrick?
Uh-huh.
You understand our line of thinking. If you're out there watching, give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes. I understand. I get exactly what you're saying. Perfect analysis, right? It's all about your position. The market is only relevant to your perspective, nobody else's. You remember that. It's only relevant to your perspective. So make it relevant to your perspective. Don't make it relevant to the world's perspective. Make it relevant to you and utilize the power of one that God gave you within you. It's as simple as that. Let's go down to our next one. What's our next one?
Next one is
Purple Innovation, right?
uh-huh.
Purple Innovation. Click it. Purple Innovation. If we look at Purple Innovation, guess what? We see this was one we were going to buy lower, and we forgot to do it on the SoFi app. And then it went way up. We look at this month, it's up 49% on the month. I mean, it's crazy. 49% this month. It went way up. And then when we missed it, I said, we got to hit this on the way back down. So we're going to look to pick it up on the way back down. Right now, we're down in this trade. We're down in this trade 63%. Okay? 63%. And that's fine. We're looking for this to come back up here to maybe up here all the way to $5. But it should at least come back up to the bottom of this valley here, around $2.24. The problem is, if it comes back up there and it doesn't go higher, guess what? Our cost average is $2.68. So if it comes up here to if we're at 268 and it comes to 222, are we going to be in profit? No, we're not going to be in profit, right? So we want to know, we want to manage our risk. And if we look right here, it looks like it's coming back down to the top of this peak right here. You see how much that is, Gerrick? What is that? Perfect. We can see it. See it?
Mm-hmm.
82 cents, right? Mm-hmm. Stands out like a sore thumb. You can't miss it. Top of this peak, 82 cents. Boom. we bounce up and probably go from the distance from here to here. Let's just figure that out. 124 minus 82 is approximately 25, 30, 45 cents. So if we go up 45 cents, that would put us at a dollar um, 70. Dollar 56, yeah, $69. Around a dollar 70. And if we look right here, that's probably 224 minus 204. Yep, that's about what it is. It would be right up in here somewhere at a dollar 70. So we would come to a dollar 70. Or we go up even higher and we go shooting up to the bottom of this at 222. Either way, we can get our cost average down below a dollar 70. That's pretty good. That's more power to us. We're managing the ride, right? We're managing that baseline. So we have to keep that in mind. It's not the time to buy now. It's not the time to sell. Why? Because now we're guaranteed a loss if we sell. And if it does decide to jump up for whatever reason from here, we just missed out. We lost because we were trying to get greedy and get a better position on it. So we want to keep what we have. But we also want to know that if it comes down to 82 cents, we're buying more. And this is one that we're buying on the SoFi app. Okay. We're buying this on SoFi. So that's Purple Innovation. Let's go to our next one, Gerrick. What's our next one?
Our next one is Restaurant Brands International.
Restaurant Brands International. They own what?
They own Burger King.
This is an interesting one. Okay. Let me show you. We have a small percentage of our balance in there. We only have $6.75 in it. We're up 11.11%. We're up 11.11. Look at that. Perfect. 1111. I think that's God's number as well. And 7 is God's number, but I really like the number 1 and what it signifies. 1111. So we look right here at we've got a buy price. We got actually 2 buy prices and we got 1 sell price. Okay. We're selling it. What amount, Gerrick?
We're selling it
75.44, right? Let's just go in and look. That's our out. That's what we want. That's all we're looking for, right? That's all we're asking for. Come up there, hit it at a dollar at 75. What was that? 75.44. Where are we at now? We're at 75.20. This has went up 75.38. It almost has hit our point, but it hasn't. We are so close to hitting our point that little bit is not going to make a difference. I mean, let's go in and look. It's at 75.20. We want 75.44. That's a difference of what is that? 20 cents, 24 cents, about 25 cents. We've only got 0.09 on it. So, I mean, that maybe makes us like 3 or 4 more cents, right? It may make us a little bit more, but not much. So knowing that, why don't we just sell it where it is, right? We might as well. We've got what we want. It could go higher. Look, this looks like one that's breaking out, and it could go higher than this. And we could hold it for its long-term potential, but I just think that we can lock in profits here, and if we want to buy it back, we don't have to buy it back like all the way down. We can buy it back when it comes back to around 68, maybe $71. We can buy it back there. We can buy it back higher than where we actually bought it now. So we can kind of get in that pocket, is what this is looking like. And that's why I think we should just go ahead and sell it, because we've got what we wanted. We wanted to get over 10% on it, and we've got that. I mean, it's there. So go ahead and hit the sell button, Gerrick. It's actually coming up right now. Coming up there as we talk. See that? Divine intelligence is working in our favor, right? Just tell it to go right now. Tell it to go to 75.44.
Go to 75.44.
We know that you got to go up there. Just go there now. 75.44. It's running. It's running up there. Well, let's go ahead. let's cancel our buys and our sells on it. So we're gonna cancel the buy. Oh, no. Yes, that's right. We're gonna cancel this buy. Do you want to cancel the other one?
Right, yeah.
We've got a buy right here. Oh no, you know what? Let's leave that buy. Oh, we can't because it won't let us sell it. I was gonna say that 71.13 is a really good buy for the future. We'll just remember that. Okay. So let's cancel that. Well, let's keep that on and see if let's see if it'll let us sell by keeping that on. We've got to cancel our sell at 75.44. Yes, I'm going to cancel it. So I've canceled that 75.44. Let's go in here and let's look. And it's coming up even more. 75.27. Bottom of this is, yep, it's above 75.24. It's going there now. But you know what? Let's go in there and sell. A few pennies is not going to make a difference. We don't need to be greedy and try to pinch pennies on this one when we've got a 11.11% profit. Hit the sell button.
So,
Hit sell all. Confirm. None. And you know what? It let us keep our buy order on there. Cool. So we still have our buy order down here at 71.13, which for the future looks like a perfect price point right here, 71.13. We are positioned right there. And you know what? It comes down there. We're probably going to put more in. We're going to probably look to put more in there if we have a bigger available balance. We're going to surf. We're going to manage that ride, right? But you know what? We're just going to leave it set there, $6.75 for now in that on that buy order. What's the next one?
Our next one is
By the way, let's make sure we sold
Power.
If we sold it. Okay. What is the next one?
Power.
Power. Go ahead and click it.
Okay.
Power is, what is Power do? Power, we bought this at 31 cents because I was actually at $1.49 the week before. And I said that this could crash down to around 31 cents. And we were there within like a week. It was the strangest thing. And so it did come down a little bit further first, but not that much in the scheme of things, considering where this has been. But it did come down enough that I think we should buy some more Power now. Okay. We're buying this in $10 increments. Actually, we're buying this in $5 increments, but we can't buy on Cash App anymore. So we bought it over on SoFi. And I'm not going to show it on this live because I have to put in my password with SoFi. It's not like Cash App and whatnot. So I'm not going to show it on here. But what we're going to do after this is I think we should go ahead and buy. We're buying in 5 increments, but down here at the bottom, we should really be buying more. We're going to buy it. We're going to buy it in 2 $5 increments. We're going to buy another $10. So we're going to buy another $10 of Power on SoFi here at 24 cents. We bought a good amount at 31 cents. And I know you can't see it on Cash App. We have 2 separate amounts. So when Power goes up, we could very well lose on the Cash App, but win on the SoFi. You know, our overall trade will make more money, a lot more money, because we'll make more money over there, and then we can transfer it back here if we want. So, or we may even win on both. Who knows? This may shoot up. I see some pretty strange things happen in the market. I'll tell you that. So we're looking at Power. We're going to buy more right here. We're going to buy another $10 worth. We bought it at 31 cents. And we also bought it at when it was up there further. We bought it at, let's see where we bought it. We bought it at 509 a share. And we bought it at, where else did we buy it? We bought it at 509 a share. Actually, 509 on both. No, right here. We bought it at 392, excuse me. So 509 and 392 is where we bought. What's ironic about UPower is this is one that we've really raked it in the past. Just to let you know, this is a stock we made bank on this. We bought 9999. We had 27 in there. It spiked way up like 175% this year. More than that, like 200 and some odd percent in one day. And we sold it at $8.36. So we were in that trade for literally 9 times 4. We were in for $32 and we sold it for $60. We almost doubled our money on it there. We bought it again for $13. We sold that for $8. We made a quick $5 on that in one day on that. We bought it again at $6. We sold it for $7.73. I mean, we've pretty much raked UPower over the coals and the way we've traded it, even though we're down now. So I want you to understand that. But I'm confident we're going to win with UPower. It's a new company. It's a smaller company. They have a small workforce, so they're looking to acquire companies. But just to let you know what they do, they're in the battery sector, and they service towns, smaller towns, and medium-sized towns in China where the middle class live. And China doesn't have that. China has a lot of people, but the middle class is in China is it's a significant amount of people, but it's a small percentage of the population. So they service these towns and small and medium-sized vehicle dealerships, and they're doing like battery stations and battery swaps for electronic vehicles. And China has a lot of people, so the amount of volume that could go through a company like this is pretty good. And they're traded on the U.S. stock exchange. I want you to understand that. And who knows? They may even go to other countries too. A lot of times, companies will take their products to other countries as well. So, we're looking at this UPower, and it's got some upside to it. It's got some upside. They're a new company. They're going to crash down in the beginning. It's got some upside. It's got some potential there. It's also got some risk as well. But as far as where we're sitting in this trade right now, I think we're sitting really pretty considering we bought more at 31 cents and considering we're going to buy more after this Zoom at 24 cents where it sits now. So that's UPower. What's the last one on the list?
The last one is WeWork.
WeWork. We got a message on WeWork. This is one we got greedy on and we got burned. But overall, we're still up. To be honest with you, it's a lesson, right? We came into WeWork. I knew it was a good entry point. And I took it. We were in for $10.45. I wish I could show you the chart. It went up. It spiked way up. We were up at one point. I could have took 30% on WeWork. All I had to do was hit the sell button. I would have been up 30%. But it looked like it was going to bounce off and shoot back up, so I stayed in the trade. And guess what? I took the wrong road on this one. Took the wrong road, and that's going to happen in life. We're going to take the wrong road at times. But you know what? It was a very small percentage of our risk. We did a great job at managing our risk in it, all things considered. Yeah, we should have took profit, but the reason we didn't take profit at the time was because it was a small piece of our balance, right? And it had that potential to go up. We realized if this was a larger piece of our balance and we got the 30% on it, we're taking that in a heartbeat. We're exiting there. We've got to take that off the table, and with that kind of profit, that's a great point. But you know what? On this one here, we got to notice they're going to liquidate. CashApp's going to liquidate our shares on the 26th of December. And if I look at let me just see here. Let's take a look at what the WeWork stock is right now. We can't sell it right now on CashApp. We just hold our shares. And the thing about WeWork, I can just look it up online. I just Google it. The thing about WeWork is whatever its price it's at on December 26th, whatever price it's at on December 26th, the day after Christmas, is the price that we're getting. Look at this. So where do we want to cheer it? It's actually on a little upswing right now. I think it come up here, 84 cents. 84 cents is a possibility. It's at 42. It could get up there. Oh, yeah, it could get up there. And it may not. And we may be closed out at around, well, let's see where it could go down to. We could be closed out on this one at around, probably right around where it is now, 40, 42 cents a share. I mean, it could come down here to 30 cents or whatever, but in the scheme of things, for how much we have, it's not going to make a huge difference. So let's go back to your screen and let's share this. Okay. So I'm going to share your screen again. And if it closes out at the current price around 40 cents, let's just say, we'll take a look at what we'll get out of it. We have got in this, how many shares do we have of WeWork? Oh, 2.37. So if it goes up to 40, we'll get about 84. We'll probably make about $1 on this one. Okay. We'll get about 10% of what we put in it. So we won't make $1. We'll get $1 out of it, and it'll just liquidate it for that. And the $9 will be a loss on the trade, but it won't be a loss overall because of how we manage our ride, right? It's all about managing that ride. And we knew the situation we were in when we took that risk. You know, we understood that it could come down, but we had a small piece in there and we understood it could go up much more. So we wanted to take the risk. It could go up much more since we had just a small piece in it. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that analysis makes sense. I'm gonna open it up here in just a second for Q&A. Yes, this has been a little bit longer Zoom. We've got to go back to Virgin Galactic. We've got to make a determination what we want to do with it. Okay, it is that time. It is that time. Let's come back here and look. Started break resistance. See what happened, Gerrick? Got pushed back down. It could still break resistance. It could still push up there and it could go a lot higher. But how much have we made on Virgin Galactic? Look at that.
We made 8.52%.
It just changed. It went up a little bit. Now 8.08%. We've made over 8%, right? We've made $5.74 on $71. We know that the chance of this coming back down and for us to be able to pick this up down here at $1.83 in the future is definitely there. And the chance to pick it back up here at $1.44 even is definitely there. I mean, you got the drive up here, which would be 234, the first drive down to here, which is $1.93, the second drive up to here. So the second drive down will put us at around $1.80, around $1.85. Okay. $1.85 would be lower than 191. So around $1.85. That's our first entry point to come back into Virgin Galactic. All we're doing at this point is we're taking a risk if we stay in. It'll probably go up here at around $3, but we're taking a risk if we stay in of that coming back down with a good portion of our balance in there. Do you want to take that kind of risk when you have that much of your balance in there?
Yes.
No. The answer is no, you don't. You don't want to take that risk when you have that much of your balance in there. You've made over 8% on it. You know what?
What?
You are guaranteed a win. 100% you are going to win. If you do what?
If I sell it.
If you accept your blessing that God gave you right now, right? So let's go accept our blessing. And we got to cancel our order. It didn't quite go to where we want, but you know what? Sometimes the road that you need to go down is not the one that you want. The one that you want is tempting you to go down it because it knows what's waiting on the other side is only going to lead to destruction. So you want to always remember that. So we're going to take the road that we know that God has blessed us with. We're going to accept our blessing, and we know that we can win. We know we've won. We've won, right? We won the fight. So let's go ahead and hit the sell button. Hit the sell button. This is one we really want to take long term. So we are going to be looking to enter back in. So yeah, all of it. So we are going to be looking to enter back in, and when we enter back in, it comes to around $1.80. We're probably going to enter in for a lot more, at that point. We're going to probably end up with about the same dollar amount, or at least the same number of shares, if we have less dollars, as what we do now when it comes down to that point. So I'm not too concerned about it. We just put back. Look, Gerrick. Our balance was 88 to begin. What is our available balance now down here? What's it say our available balance is?
$200.
$200. And you've got $207 in the market working. Wow. You've got about 50% of your money in cash and about 50% of the market. You know why it works out that way?
No.
Divine intelligence. Divine intelligence. I'm telling you, it is divine intelligence. It just works out that way. When you follow God's plan, it works out that way. I don't know why, but it works out that way many times. So we've got to look. We just changed the course of our sine wave. Did we change the course of this wave to go much higher? We very well could have with ourselves, but we're also going to look to make a few buys. Okay. I saw some really good buys in the market today, and we're going to go capitalize on those buys. Let's go down here, Gerrick, and here's what we're going to look at. First of all, these are stocks we've traded in the past. Are any of them down big for the day? Well, Rackspace Technology is, right? Rackspace Technology is here. We're going to put this over here. Rackspace Technology is, right? We look at Rackspace, and it could bounce off where it is now, but it could also come down here to 154. So I don't think that this is a good entry point on Rackspace. I mean, it is if we take a small amount, but I don't want to get stuck in the trade if it comes down to here, because if it comes down to here at 154, it'll probably only come back up to maybe less than where it is now, So I realize that. Rent the Runway, we can't buy that on Cash App anymore, unfortunately. We could on SoFi, but we've got our balance over here in Cash App. We need to find a stock that we can trade. So let's go look and see what's down. Come here and look and see what's down. You tell me what you want to look at, and we'll see if you see the same things I do. What's down? SunPower. You know what? I noticed other solar companies are down today. Today is the day that we go buy solar companies, right? I mean, come on. They're all down, the solar companies are. And this is the day where we're going to go solar. Look at this. This come back and hit right here. This hit 428. Oh, it actually hit lower than that. 377. It may come back up here and bounce back down here first at 378. But overall, this is a really good entry point. And it could come up here too at 443, and it could push down even lower. This could come down. This could come down here to 4 minus 3, 380. Yeah, 360. 350 range. This is a really good entry point right here. I was going to buy it earlier when it was down 39% down here, but I knew we were going to be doing this episode, so I didn't want to. I wanted to save it, and unfortunately, it's went up higher. Let's go ahead and buy this, Gerrick. Let's go ahead and buy this. Okay, now we got to look. We got to figure out what 9% of our available balance is. We can take the available balance we have on buy orders too. You know why?
Why?
Because we can always cancel those out. That's money is still in our possession. So let's total up what we have on buy orders. We have 16
Wait.
plus, you don't add this up, or let's just see. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. Let's add this up. So we got 8 plus 13 is 21, plus 9 is 30. Okay. Plus we've got, uh, okay, so there's 30, and we've got 16, so that's 46. And then we got 675. So that is 46. That's 52 75. Okay, so 52. So let's just say $53. So go ahead and punch in the calculator, $253. Okay, 253. 253. We're going to take that times 9%. What can we go stick in a trade in some trades?
Like 2 point.
No, $253. $253. That's what we're working with. Times 0.09 equals,
22.77.
we'll call it $23. Okay. We got $23. Remember when we first started, we were only entering in with $9, right? A trade. Now we're starting to enter in with a little bit more because our balance is growing. So we can do what? $23. Go ahead and hit the buy button. We're going to go buy $23 worth of this right now. Hit the buy button. We should make sure there's no major news. SunPower stock tanks after going concern warning. Let's see what this says before we do that. SunPower stock tanks after going concern warning. What is that? Shares of SunPower dropped more than 30% after the residential solar company spooked investors with a going concern warning and regulatory filings. SunPower stock fell 34% for its lowest close. So it just has a concern whether it can continue in business. See, look, it's warning investors that a failure to reach an agreement with lenders would result in immediate debt repayment of 65.3 million. So that's their warning. Now I'm going to tell you what. You know what usually happens when they give one of those warnings?
What?
It means that their lenders usually work with them. Okay, most of the time their lenders work with them. We also know that solar power is a huge industry. Solar power is a huge up and coming industry. And we know that you're probably going to start seeing more and more homes with solar power on it. So I'm not afraid to go ahead and make this investment. Let's go ahead and make this investment. We got to take some risk, right? And if it comes down, we'll manage it on the way down. 428, come up here, it could push down more. If it comes down more, that's okay. We'll just buy it. We'll just buy it lower if it does. I think that we still are going to be able to get out with a profit. I think that this is going to recover to maybe up here around 593, probably a little lower than that. Maybe up here around 493. I think we've got room. I think we've got room for this to come up. At the very least, it looks like it needs to come 443. It's at 426 now. Let's go ahead and buy it. Go ahead and hit buy. We're going to see. We're going to watch it when it gets up around that 440. Hit buy. And we're going to buy $23 worth. Hit next. Okay. Let's see. Nope. Here. It would be right here. You bought it. 23. Okay. It's going to show up in your list too. So we have $23 of SunPower in our balance, right? $23 worth. It's that on our list. It's right
There.
It's right here. It's our 1, 2, 3, 4. It's our fifth. It's our fifth highest holding.
Yay.
So it's right there in the middle of the list. That's where we want it to be. Okay. Let's go look and see if there's any other ones down here that look good and promising. And let's go down here. Scroll over. See if we see any others that have had a big drop today. None of those. None of those. Right there. Oh, that looks like it had a drop, didn't it? Oh, it's a solar company too. It was down 18. I was going to buy it down here earlier. But you know what? I was waiting to make the move on this episode. Let's see what its news says. It doesn't really have any news, which tells me that this drop in the solar stocks is one that is pretty broad across the board. So we see it come down and hit here. It's bouncing up from this previous peak here on the month chart. On the day chart, 484. Did it come down there today? No, not quite. So on the all-time chart, it could come back down and hit this 484. See that, Gerrick?
Mm-hmm.
Could he hit the top of there and bounce off? It's at 550 now. It went down to under 5. It doesn't have to come down there before it goes up, obviously. It's hitting off of this peak, 512. Perfect. This could go up more. This could go up. No, this could go up a lot more. This could easily go up here to $9 or so. So let's go ahead and buy this one here as well. So now what do we have in the market working? We had 253 and we just used $23 of it, right? So now we have in the market, we have 253 minus 23, and we have 230. What's 9% of that?
200.
So take that times 0.09. Tell me what it is. .09. 9%.
20.7.
20. So let's call it $21. Let's go buy this $21 worth right here. We're gonna buy this mat. What was it? Where is it at?
We go back right there.
Right there. Let's go ahead and buy it. Hit buy. What are we buying? 21. No.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna buy 21. We're just gonna round it up. Just buy 21. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Don't pound on the screen so fast. You might hit a button that you don't want to hit. Okay, so we bought it. Okay, it's there. We're still got some in our available balance that we're working on down here. Let's see if we find any others that we want to buy. Everything else is up. The one thing that I've been looking at here, guys, lately is biotech stocks. And I'm going to tell you, medical stocks look like they need to go up. So let's just look, let's just set this parameters here. Let's look for anything in the past week that is down more than 5%. Let's just take a look.
Go back up.
Let's look and see if any of these are medical stocks.
Go back down.
Pfizer, but I know I've done analysis on Pfizer, and Pfizer needs to come down lower. Pfizer needs to come down around. It could go up to $28, but it needs to come down around 22, 23.
I'll show you one that you had. Let's see what is that. XPEG.
No, we don't have that one. No, see, this one needs to come down all the way down here.
That one's in your messages, though.
And yeah, it is, but it needs to come down to 1138 yet. I'm not confident in buying it there. It may come up to 17 from here, but it may only come up to 15. I think there's better ones than XP. So let's look and see if there's any medical ones. I'm looking for medical. Oh, Medifast. They're a medical one, right? They're a medical one. You know what? Let's look here. This is one of the trades. I'm going to be honest with you. This is one of the trades we have in Infurio. You know that? We have this trade in Infurio. See this peak right here at 66.21? See that right there?
Uh-huh.
That's a really good peak. You got the drive up here, second drive up, the first drive down, and now the second drive down is lower when it hits that peak. That's 66.21. It's a 66.29 now. Man, this is a really good buy. Let's buy some of this. It's down on the week, 11%. It's up on the month. What do they do? Let's see what they do. They're a US based company that produces, distributes, and sells products concerning weight loss, weight management. Hey, we know that's a big thing right now, right? They have a new medicine called Ozempic. There's a huge thing going on there. We know that the new year's coming up, the resolution, people always, make a resolution to lose weight on New Year's. It's number one thing. And you know what? Medivast, they do weight loss. They're perfect entry point. Let's just put two and two together and say, we've got to think that this entry point here, it could go lower, it could push lower, but we've got to think this is a good entry point. Let's see their financials. Oh, beautiful. And look, they were projected to make $1.06 per share. They did $2.12. They made 2 times as much as what they were projected.
Look at their points. They have good check marks right there.
Yeah, those are good check. Those are showing they beat their projections. Are you kidding me? This is a great entry point for Medivast, right?
Uh-huh.
We're at a really good entry point. Oh, look how it came down and it started zipping back up. So now it's got a catch in here, it'll probably go up to here, 73, come down to here, roundabout, bounce off of there before it goes higher. I can already see what it's going to do in the future, right? Just based on how the sine wave behaves, because that's how quickly I process it. Once you start seeing it, you start seeing it. And your brain processes it really quickly. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say, you know what? I mean, this definitely needs to come back up here to around 68,
And then those other
at the very least. And it's got a good chance based on the fundamentals that we know. Look, it's made 3 declining peaks. You see this peak here? Oh my gosh, I just saw it. Look at this. Hold on, look at this. See this peak here? Right there.
Uh-huh.
There's a peak. There's a peak. Those are those 3 declining peaks. They are perfectly spaced. When you see that in the market, it is a huge setup and telltale sign that you've got a stock that is set to explode. And when it goes up the chart, it goes up a long ways. But however, if it breaks, and we saw this with 270 Bio, if it breaks this low point right here at 62.17, if it breaks there, it's going to come a lot lower. And you have to know that. So if it does break there, you just let it go lower all the way down before you make your next buy, right? That's what we would do. This, though, looking at everything, it looks like it's probably going to hold in here. We're probably going to see this hold in here. And when this goes up, you know what happens when you see these 3 descending peaks? You know where it goes to? It goes when it does that. When did the stock come out? It came out in 2002.
2002.
When it does that, it typically goes above that second peak, which is at $105, $107. It's at $66 now. So if this breaks here, if this holds here, this is coming above $107. It's going up here to at least $111. And I mean, it's almost hit there. I mean, it's probably going to around $111. It's at $66 there. That's almost 100% gain. And you can see that setting up in the charts. You know that you have that potential if it drops down. So you're not going to throw caution to the wind, but you're going to keep some money just in case you have to manage your risk on down lower. So Medifast, Gerrick, let's go ahead and let's put 20% of our balance in here. So what do? We had 230 minus 21, right? 230 minus 21 is 209 times 9%. That's $19. We're going to do $19 in this one. Go ahead and hit buy. So you're yawning. We're almost done. Hit buy. $19. You guys are certainly getting your money's worth out there today.
How much money do we have left?
You purchased $19. Well,
We
got
have 130.
37 in there, so we're gonna see.
We got 200, so now
we can and did this go? Yep, we bought it. It's in our balance
okay,
up there.
I think that's all the stocks we'll buy.
Well, let's see here. We're gonna see if there's any medical stocks. See, Gerrick saying, "Hey, it's time. It's time that we wrap this up, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it is almost time. Let's see if there's any medical stocks here.
Go back to expect.
Let me search up here for categories. Let's go to
Community and entertainment.
health. Yeah, that's gonna be biotech too. Yeah, it's gonna be all health categories. It doesn't tell us if they're up or down. I don't want to go into each one, but let's see this one here. I've been watching this one.
It's a medical.
It's one that could break out big. It could hit off of here and break out, or it could come down. See the general consensus wave, drive up to here, drive down to here. Second drive up to here. It could fall below this point here at 831, and it could come back down to 722 pretty easily. So it's one that I've been watching. It's got huge upside potential, but that downside is there as well. I don't think we're going to enter into this. It's up 11% on the week, 8% on the month. I think we're just going to leave this one alone. You know what? I don't really think that there's any other stocks that we need to get today. Let's see any on the list. Here's a VF that's down 7%. What do? VF designs, produces, and distributes branded apparel. So it does apparel. Its products in Americas, Europe, and Asia Pacific. It looks like its market cap is 7 billion is what it's worth, and its financials is right about the point that they call it. They meet just about their estimate every time. So if we look at the sine wave here, we're going to see that it could come down. It's 1823. It could bounce off of here. Let's see if there's a point it could go up. It could come all the way down here, 1599. Well, let's see if there's a point it could go up here. Let's see if there's any upside in it. So it's down 7. Let's just look at we got to look at the month chart all the way up here, 2026. So this could go around 1980, 1960, maybe $19. It's got a risk of coming down to 16. I don't think that one's worth risking. I mean, yeah, there's a good chance you can make a quick little buck on it, but it's, for what we're looking for, I think we can find better. And I think what we just do with our money right now is set in cash, other than the money that we have in the market. We just wait for opportunity, right? We took advantage of some good opportunity today in the 3 new ones that we bought, right?
Yep.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead. We're going to close us out on YouTube. For you guys on the Zoom, if you guys are on the Zoom, if you want to do a Q&A or do any private, analysis or any questions, we're going to open that up for you once we go off of YouTube. Once we go off of YouTube Live, right? So we're gonna say see, we usually edit this out. This part is usually edited out. We're live now, right? Uh-huh. We're gonna end up closing us out. We're gonna tell them bye on YouTube, and we're gonna wish them a Merry Christmas right now. We're gonna talk about the lesson that we learned today, and then you know what? We'll go to our viewers on our Zoom here that are live with us, right? All right. I guess none of them wanted to be on the video today. Nobody wanted to be on our video today. Well, see, they could have turned their video on, been on our episode today.
Well, somewhere they got off.
We have people on here, yeah. They just didn't want to. They're just shy. They didn't want to turn their cameras on. Okay. So, Gerrick, that was a pretty dang good episode to wrap up the year, wasn't it?
Yes.
I think it was. Give me a high five. Even though you were playing on the phone while we were going through trades, and You were listening, though. I could tell you were listening. Just didn't have your full attention. But you know what? At least you're learning something. So what did we learn today?
We learned today about that whatever you said, the two words, and then
Whatever I said. Oh, we learned the definition of
yep.
Of what?
Oh,
Cognitive, right?
and then the other word was there was a word that was made of too.
Oh,
The
Food and Drug Administration, FDA.
Yeah.
We learned about that. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what we learned in this episode?
Medical stuff we bought.
We bought medical. We bought some medical stocks. We bought some solar stocks, right?
Yes.
That's what we did this episode. But what did we learn? We learned about what? The road.
The road we choose.
We learned about the road that we choose, and we chose our road in the market, right? We took advantage of the ones that we could keep our risk in and the ones that we were guaranteed to win in. We took that win. We had some others that we were guaranteed to win, but we looked at the facts surrounding it and we looked, hey, we're in good shape if we continue to hold this. We did our fundamental, we did our technical analysis, we learned about the sine wave. We did so much this episode. I gave you guys a huge golden nugget when I explained the general consensus wave and one of the big intricacies of how they behave. So you got that from us today. You got a lot of bang for your buck this episode, and I thought it was perfect to wrap up the year. We've got about how many minutes left in the trading day? Where are we at? We've got about 40 minutes left in the trading day. About 40 minutes left in the trading day.
Oh, it took about like 2 hours already.
Yeah, we did. We did a long one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Because it was like 12.
You're just now noticing. See, you were playing a little bit on the phone as you were listening. So we're going to be back. Okay. We're going to be back next year. I'll get to that here in a second, but we learned about the road. I didn't finish up my point. We learned about the road we choose. And we can choose two types of roads, right? Which two do we choose?
Good or wrong?
Correct. We could choose the road that pleases God, or we could choose the road that pleases ourselves. And you know where they end up? The outcome's already been wrote. You don't control the outcome. I want you to understand that. What we've learned about space and time, you don't control the outcome. The outcome has already happened. The past, present, and future, they happen simultaneously. The outcome is already wrote. The free will that you have is in the choice itself. The choice itself. And if you go down the road that God chose, what's at the end of it? Good. The road that not that God chose, but the road that serves God, what's at the end of it? Good. There's peace, there's prosperity, and there is a freedom like you've never felt. But if you go down the road that serves yourself, you know what there is down there? There's a freedom you've never felt there before as well. There's a big freedom to going down that road. The problem is when you take the road that serves yourself, what ends up happening?
It's bad.
It's a road to destruction. Because yes, you may win in the moment for yourself, but at the end of that road is just a dead end. And it's the culminating point you reach, and then you know what? You turn back around and you come down to zero. That's the road that serves yourself will always lead to destruction. The road that pleases God will always lead to prosperity. Even though it may not seem like it in the moment, you've got to understand this is much bigger than the moment, right? It's much bigger than the moment. So when we look at the path that we can choose, we come to a crossroads. We have to keep that in mind. And what happens if we get on the road that pleases ourselves? We get off the wrong road. What happens? We've got to learn how to walk that valley, right? Because we got to understand we're going to go in the valley when we get off on that road. And we've got to walk that valley with who?
God.
With God on our side. We've got to walk it with courage, with faith, with confidence, We've got to go down there and transcend it and find the beauty of being there. And then we got to find our purpose for being there so that we can get out of there and get back on the road that pleases God, right? Mm-hmm. So we learned a lot today. We learned a very valuable life lesson. One thing I want you guys to notice out there, if this is your first time joining us, we not only teach about the market, we teach about life. Because what we teach, the biblical principles that we teach in the market are the same biblical principles that apply to life. And so we're able to relate the two. And that's really what makes us so different and our episodes so different. You know, this isn't totally about ourselves. Along the way, I'm teaching Gerrick about the market and about money, right? Mm-hmm. Something they're not going to teach in school because they want you to work 40 or 50 years until the rest of your life, until the day you die for a lot of people. I'm going to teach about money. Find freedom in the financial market, right? Mm-hmm. You know what else I'm teaching you about? What? Teaching you about God, right? The most important decision that you'll ever make in your life. And you know what else I'm teaching you about? Power. I'm teaching about the power of one, which is the power of God. But you know what else? I'm teaching you entrepreneurism as well, because this is our YouTube channel. And eventually, once we get the subscribers, we'd like to monetize our YouTube channel. And only you guys can help us out because you know how good the content is that we put out. When you know how good the content is we put out, do us a favor and share it with people. Share our video on social media. Say something to the effect, these guys are awesome in the market. They almost always get it right, whatever you want to say. But if you could help us get there, we would really appreciate it. Because I'm also teaching Gerrick about entrepreneurism, which is a very valuable lesson. So many lessons along the way. And I guess that goes hand in hand with what the road we choose. And the road I choose is to go down the right one, right? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, remember, this is our last episode of the year. We will be back
on next year.
Next year, about 2 to 3 weeks into the year. Okay, my birthday happens, I think, after the second week, so we might take off until then and then come back after that. So 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And we have people coming on. Come on Zoom, guys. After we close it on YouTube, we're gonna be on Zoom. Probably until the market closes today.
Oh, someone just joined. It's Virgil.
Yep. So 2 to 3 weeks after the new year, we'll be back. But any moves that we make, we just bought some. If we end up selling those, we very well could. We could sell them tomorrow. If we end up selling them soon, you'll want to know about it because we post all the moves that we make in our Facebook group called what?
Trading with G.
Called Trading with G. And the other thing we want to remind them is, since this is our last one of the year, what do we need to tell them?
Happy New Year.
You tell them that Happy New Year. We want to tell them Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And you know what the reason for the season is that we want people to remember? What's the reason for the season? Not Santa Claus.
Because of kindness and
because of Jesus, because of Christ, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why we celebrate Christmas, right? Mm-hmm. Santa Claus is cool and whatnot, right? And he embraces the principles to give presents away, right, at Christmas, that Christ. But the real reason for the season is because Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, was born. And I want you guys to remember that. I want you to remember that, right? Mm-hmm. Never forget that. It's all about, Christmas is all about Jesus Christ being born. So I want you guys to have a Merry Christmas. Tell them what? Happy what?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And you know what? Remember, two things before we tell you what to remember. What's the two things we need to, well, actually just one. There's just one right now. We told you Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We told you about Trading with G. We got to tell them about what? We got to remind them to do what?
Smash that like button.
And subscribe to our channel. Oh. Well, this is Dwayne.
And Jay.
Reminding you, manage the ride.
And you will master the time.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Bye now, YouTube. Everybody
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
everybody on our Zoom, just stay here. Just stay here.